In the last video, we considered what would happen with a price increase in the market, whether that was supply side driven or demand side driven. All we know is here we had the price of a good or service increase and fall into, obviously, disequilibrium. And what we ended up with, of course, is a new equilibrium here. Price goes up, coin demanded goes down, price goes up. There's excess supply, and this is what this shaded area, this triangle, shows us. Quantity supplied is greater than quantity demanded, hence we have excess supply, or what we call a surplus. Now, it's rather intuitive, I think, if we see in the marketplace a price decrease in a good or service. Decrease, right here. So here's our new prime P price. Back up. Our new price, we'll call it P prime. This is our new price level at our sort of new disequilibrium here and here. Just check them off here. So with the price decreasing, if it's a good or a service or a commodity that people want, prices go down. Obviously, prices go down, then that leads to quantity demanded going up, which is what we see here with this red line. But there is going to, until the firms, the producers, the firms of a certain good or product, service, commodity, produce more to achieve a new equilibrium, you are going to have here at this point a shortage, because the quantity supplied of this particular good or service has basically, it is declined, not nominally, but in relation to the demand for that particular product. They are kind of, behind the eight ball here. They're going to have to play catch up, and until they do, we will have in the marketplace with this disequilibrium, until the market corrects, excess demand. Excess demand. Demand is here. Supply is here, given the price decrease, and clearly the quantity demanded for just a price change only. Remember, that's just a movement along the curve, not a shift. The quantity demanded is farther to the right on the x-axis than the quantity supplied. So it's essentially just sort of the inverse of this to the left, the surplus, given a price change, and a shortage or excess demand given a price change. When I say price change, this one went up, this one went down. So we have in the marketplace during this temporary disequilibrium either a surplus or a shortage. Surplus or a shortage, depending on the direction of how price shifts. Now, there are a few things we can get into in later videos and later tutorials. These supply and demand curves are quite linear, and they're very, the slopes, if you look at the slope, they're almost like one-to-one, right? We will get into further detail later what it means when, say, I'm just going to draw down here, right here. When you have a supply curve that maybe looks like this, and you have a demand curve that looks like that, kind of almost up, straight, and down. Or you could have, say, let's try it this way. Maybe your demand curve, your supply curve is kind of like standard, right? But your demand curve looks like this. Now, this is when we get into elasticities, and that's when we're getting into that here in the next video or so. However, the point being is if there is a price change, either up or down, the slope of the demand curve really kind of tells you a lot in terms of how much of a shortage you will have or how much of a surplus you will have. A demand curve that slopes like this versus a demand curve that slopes like this, that shortage here and that surplus can look very different depending upon the elasticity of demand, which we will get into in the next video or so. So again, just a quick recap. We got into a lot of detail with this first example with the excess supply. This is just sort of intuitive. It's sort of the opposite. If prices go down and quantity supplied is on the left, quantity demanded is on the right after their equilibrium, and vice versa over here, you end up either with a surplus or a shortage in the marketplace. We will get into permanent disequilibriums at a later video too. We'll be talking about price controls, things of that nature that are regulatory in nature, to where the market does not correct and we end up in sort of a permanent disequilibrium or market inefficiency, and we'll pick that up in a later video. So if you have any questions on this in terms of excess demand or excess supply, drop me a comment in the comment box below, shoot me an email, whatever you'd like to do, and we can discuss. If not, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.